From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Wednesday, March the 30th, 2022. We open with the deadly terror attack last night in Bnai, Brak, where 5 people were murdered by a Palestinian terrorist. The third deadly terror attack in the span of 1 week in Israel that has left a total of 11 people dead. The victims of last night's attack have been named as 36-year-old Yaakov Shalom, who was shot at in his car at close range, 29-year-old Avishai Yechezkel, who was shot while walking down the street pushing his 2-year-old son in his stroller, trying to protect him, 32-year-old Victor Sarah Kapot, and 23-year-old Dmitry Mitrik, both foreign workers from Ukraine who were sitting outside a store when they were shot, and 32-year-old Christian Arab Israeli police officer Amir Khoury, who was one of a team of 2 officers on motorcycles who chased down and confronted the terrorist in a gun battle, killing the terrorist, but Khoury died of gunshots he sustained in the confrontation. Funerals for most of the victims were held today. Well, after holding a security consultation on the recent rise in attacks, Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett released a statement last night saying, "My heart is with the families who have lost their loved ones this evening. I am praying for the recovery of the wounded. The security forces are at work. We will fight terrorism with persistence, diligence, and an iron fist. They will not move us from here. We will prevail." U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken, who was just in Israel a few days ago, said last night on behalf of the U.S., "We strongly condemn the horrific terrorist attack today in Bnai Brak, the third terrorist attack in Israel in a week. We send our condolences to the families of the victims of these tragic attacks. May their memories be a blessing." U.S. Ambassador to Israel Tom Nides wrote last night, "My heart goes out to the families of the victims. No one should have to endure such heartbreak." The King of Jordan, Abdullah II, was cited by Israel's President Isaac Herzog as condemning the attack. Herzog was in Amman today to meet with the king and spoke of the heinous attack in Bnai Brak and of working together to create a different reality.
We are offering an alternative. As against the horrible scenes of yesterday, we offer a different alternative of people-to-people dialogue, of respect, of speaking to each other, on showing the region that there could be a different way. I always say, the fact is that Muslim leaders are meeting Jewish leaders and Israeli leaders together is an alternative to the abyss of hatred and bloodshed.
And a rare condemnation was heard from Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas, whose office, cited by the Times of Israel, said that he expressed his condemnation of the killing of Israeli civilians tonight, emphasizing that the killing of Palestinian and Israeli civilians only leads the situation to deteriorate. Israel's Defense Minister Benny Gantz, meanwhile, ordered some 1,000 IDF soldiers deployed to reinforce Israel police presence in a number of areas across the country in the wake of the spate of deadly terror. Turning now to some other news, a memorandum of understanding was signed between Israel and Morocco during a meeting last week between Morocco's Minister of Industry and Trade, Riyad Manzour, and Chairman of the Board of Israel Aerospace Industries, Amir Peretz, a continuation of the joint declaration between the two countries signed in December of 2020 to promote dynamic and innovative bilateral economic cooperation in the fields of investment and technology. Manzour said of the partnership, it opens the way for win-win industrial collaboration in the aerospace industry. Peretz, who was born in Morocco, said, "I am proud that both countries that make up my identity are stepping forward together towards a brighter future. Aligned with our mutual values, the friendship between our nations will continue growing as we bring forward more cooperation and opportunities." Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Wednesday, March the 30th at 7 o'clock, it's Talmud Study. At 7:30, Director Yair Qedar joins Eric Goldman to discuss his film, The Last Chapter of A.B. Yehoshua. At 8, Russian-American female writers address how the immigrant experience has impacted their lives and their work. At 9, Mark Golub sits down with author Talia Carner on L'chaim. At 10, artistic director of the Manhattan Theater Club, Lynne Meadow, talks about the challenges and joys of being a woman in theater. And coming up next, it's Thinking Out Loud. And that's the JBS News Update for Wednesday, March the 30th, 2022. I'm Teisha Bader. Stay healthy, stay well.